Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're listening to Batman on Film.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
Plug you in, my tuning up frequency. Jett and the crew, they got the remedy. Discussing bats and all his legacy. Mike is silent. Welcome to the social hour. We're talking gospel, flying power. Look in the field, the protest got the keys to the Batmobile. Lights go down the shuts about the storm. Jett's wisdom sucking like a dog. We're down the ways of harm. We're in deep, not sleep. Welcome to the social hour. Exploring Gotham's darkest hours. Tune in, feel the charge. Jett's at the helm with going large.
Welcome to the social hour. I almost said chapter by chapter, but there's a caveat to that, and I'll explain in a minute.
It's all connected.
It is all connected. This is the Batman on Film Social Hour, a Batman on Film podcast, batman-on-film.com. This is episode number 199.
Whoa.
I think I've done 198 of the 199. I believe Ryan Lauer's here, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Lauer, senior BOF contributor. I think you hosted one social hour that was planned and I could not make, but we went ahead with it and you filled in. You got out of the sidecar and got into the,
Yeah, it felt good.
The driver's seat.
It felt good. And I think I got to go, let's ride.
Yeah.
Was that for the Batman in concert interview? Was that it?
Might have. I don't know.
I
don't know.
With that guy. I don't know. But anyways.
But what I do know.
What you do know.
Is that this is episode 199.
That's right.
One shy of 200. And did you know that in Batman 89, there was a Joker parade for the 20th or 220th, the 200th anniversary of Gotham? So it's definitely all connected,
remember that.
Right?
It's all connected. And then also, Bill, you're gonna party like it's 199? I don't. That's a stretch.
Yeah.
But that that 99 by Prince. Prince did the soundtrack for 89. Oh man, there we go. It's all connected. It's a stretch, but it's kind of there.
I know we're like 21, 22. We're getting close to 220, 221, whatever it takes.
Oh boy. What if those two episodes is just you saying that for like 20 minutes?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's it.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yes. I am merely Bill Ramey, the founder of Batman on Film.
Oh, that's
and yes, we have a lot to get to.
Mm-hmm.
A lot to get to. We're going to pay tribute to Val Kilmer, who passed away on August. What the hell's wrong? What the hell's going on here? April. It is not August yet. April. We're still in the fairly early stages of this year, 2025. April 1st, age 65. That one kind of bummed me, man. To tell you, I was kind of bummed out over that one. And we're going to work in Batman Forever, chapter by chapter, chapter 12. I understand. Into this podcast, it's because it's not going to take long. It's not going to take long. Right. So it'll be part of the Val Kilmer tribute. And then we're going to talk about all the, I don't even know, I don't have adjectives to describe it. I will say I'm annoyed, but the hoopla, exaggeration, overreaction, those are all verbs, right? Those are all action words.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm now thinking, I'm like, wait, what did he just say?
Can it be a verb and an adjective? Well, anyway, I asked announcer Rachel. She's an English teacher, so
there you go.
I was just merely a history teacher.
She's in the booth on stage left, right?
Yeah,
is she in there right now waiting for her?
Like Robin. Yeah, she's like Robin Quivers.
That's right.
Except she doesn't say anything or cackle. All the nonsense apparently Robert Pattinson's going to do Dune 3 after the Odyssey. It's going to film in the summer, probably into the fall. And of course, that means complete doomsday scenario for the Batman 2. As it right, Ron? It's just complete
Yeah.
doomsday. It's just a disaster.
Wait,
Let's
are you saying
overreact and
Doomsday
carry
is going
on.
to be in the Batman Part 2? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'd let that slip, but
Oh my gosh, exclusive. Heard it here first.
yeah. Here we go. All right. So, Val Kilmer, and you've told your Batman Forever story before.
Hmm.
Give just a kind of a recap of that, a short recap. But what do you, Val Kilmer's Batman? Where does
Hmm.
where is he in your hierarchy? Where is he in just your personal, like, dislike, affection, whatever you want to call it for his take or his turn as Batman?
For his turn as Batman, I think it's always been positive, but I've never been over the moon, you know?
Yeah.
Especially as I got, I think probably even as I was a kid, if I'd hear Batman, I would think, Michael Keaton as Batman. That bat suit, because as a kid, it's hard to differentiate. You just see Batman, It's not like, oh, the actor Michael Keaton is underneath the suit. Uh, but like Kilmer for me, and this was actually really funny that I think the first thing I saw Kilmer in was Tombstone. I was like
Okay.
8, which is really
Yeah.
funny. But I think my parents had seen the movie and they were like, I think you can handle this one. And he was and still remains a knockout in that movie.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite Val Kilmer role. Um, him as Batman, though, like I think he was fine. I liked him in the suit. I was, 9 years old when I saw him in Batman Forever, and that was such a fun movie. It remains a fun movie to me. I don't think, and I don't see parts of that I ever heavily criticized, though.
Hmm.
It does feel a little bit, and maybe this is just, hindsight now because we know more now than I did when I was younger, but like, there was parts missing, I guess, a little bit because he did, and I've been listening obviously to the chapter by chapters that I haven't been on. And I do agree with it that obviously of the 60s movie and then the two Keaton films that this was probably the first one to try to dive in psychologically to Batman. And I think
Hmm.
Kilmer was a really good actor to do that, like to attempt that with. And so to kind of rewatch the movie and think about the movie with, through that lens, it adds a little something else as an adult in watching that movie.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, and it's not just because he's passed, but it's like I don't have negative thoughts about him as Batman at all, or like heavy criticisms. Like his successor, there's some criticisms for sure. But he is him as Batman. I've always just had a positive, what do you want to say, thought, feeling, um, reaction toward him.
Yeah. I have I have a positive take
Yeah.
and a positive opinion, and I have a lot of affection for not only Batman Returns. No, oops,
Whoa,
Freudian
whoa,
slip.
whoa, Freudian
Batman,
slip indeed.
yeah, Batman Forever.
I hope you leave that in there. Pete's gonna
I will
love it.
absolutely leave it in there. For Batman Forever, but I really liked Val Kilmer as Batman. I like him as Bruce Wayne.
Hmm.
I think I've mentioned this in the chapter by chapter for Batman Forever, those podcasts that, of course, Batman Forever was a huge hit, wasn't a flop, wasn't a disappointment. And the casting of Keaton coming on as Batman kind of brought a breath of fresh air into the
The casting of
series.
Kilmer.
Yes, what I say?
Okay. Keaton.
Keaton.
He's still got
Keaton,
returns on the brain.
yes. Kilmer replacing Michael Keaton
Yeah.
brought a little breath of fresh air
Yeah.
into the franchise. And
Hmm.
I I mean, to be honest, not a huge, in my opinion, not a huge difference between his his Batman and Keaton's to a certain extent.
Agree.
They're kind of, I mean, they're supposed to be the same Batman. I just found I liked his Bruce Wayne better. And there's nothing against
Sure.
Michael Keaton's take. He went with, kind of a off, oddball, preoccupied in his mind, and kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne, where Val Kilmer's was really, it was like, and it is not a slight to Keaton to say Michael Keaton's not really a leading man. Would that be fair? But he's also not a character actor, but although he can be a character actor. I'm talking about your stereotypical Hollywood leading man. Would you put Keaton under that? He would be a headliner. He'd be a top bill guy in a film. Absolutely. He would be the star of any movie.
I don't know. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I'd say he can be. I don't. I think the a focus of Forever wasn't as present in the two Keaton movies, in the psychological. But then
Yeah.
people would argue back that I think the psychological aspect of Batman is completely absent from Returns. Um,
Yes.
and that's not a slight. Like I've said on here tons of times. I love that movie. 89 a little bit. It's like, why does he do what he does?
That's other than that, really, yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Like
kind of
Knox
it.
says in 89, what do you think that does to a kid?
Mhm.
I'm paraphrasing
But
about
it
the Wayne
doesn't
brothers. Yeah.
dive in much more than that. It's
No.
just like
Yeah.
at surface level, which again is fine. We love that movie. Whereas, like you've mentioned on Forever, there was some trying to go deeper, and everything that was cut, we've learned supports that they're trying to go a lot deeper
I'll put
with
it
that
this way.
aspect. And I think Kilmer, as an actor, and it's not a slight on Keaton because Keaton's done so much since his resurgence, you know.
Yeah.
But I do think at the time, I think Kilmer was maybe better suited for a deeper role like that than Keaton.
Yeah. He is I would say I put it this way. He is probably his casting is more in line with, say, Robert Pattinson and
Hmm.
even Christian Bale,
Yeah.
maybe even Clooney to a certain extent. He kind of the leading man type, as we think of, a leading Hollywood leading man. Then Kilmer, or then Keaton. Sorry, Keaton, Kilmer, Clooney, 221,
What else you got?
222. Yeah, let's get it going here. All these K sounds.
Yeah.
But and they played in that the Bruce Wayne of Batman Forever. He was a public Bruce Wayne. He was in the
Yeah.
tabloids, Gossip Gertie. Oh, there's Bruce Wayne, Um,
Brucey.
yeah, there's that, and he's on the cover of magazines and whatnot. And it's like he was more of the quote unquote comic book Bruce Wayne than we saw in the two Burton films with Keaton. And
Because
again, don't
Keaton
knock
was
on
kind
Keaton
of
because
like
yeah,
because he was just like he was out of the public spotlight. Like he wasn't there. I
yeah.
mean, Vicky Vale, yes, she was new as a reporter, but
I
she
mean,
was like
Knox, how did not like
doesn't recognize him and
how does Knox not know that's Bruce Wayne, and how did he not know about the Wayne murders? But that's a rabbit hole that we're not going down. Okay.
but no, it presents itself on how the Kilmer's approach and what they were going to do with Batman with Kilmer was
Yeah.
different than what we'd seen
Yeah.
up to
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
point. How well
So
or didn't not well they accomplished that's up for debate, sure, but I do think, facts the approach was different with his.
I was disappointed when he didn't return or another go around. I remember that.
I couldn't remember how, I
Yeah.
was 10 when I found out or whatever, so like I can't
I
pretend that I
actually
know.
read about it in a newspaper. That's
Oh
how
boy.
that's show you how times are different.
And
And it was
you
like,
tore it
what?
up and you burnt the paper and you were like,
And I
how
was
do
a
I
fan
write
of
to Warner Brothers?
and I was a fan of ER, and I liked Clooney, but I was bummed out, that Val Kilmer wasn't playing Batman anymore. And
Did you
anyway,
watch the Did you watch the Val documentary?
I did. Yes, I
Came out a
did.
few years ago.
Yeah.
It was very good. Um, I really appreciated like almost like the bright and optimistic tone it had when the story itself was kind of sad, you know.
Yeah.
But I liked seeing, Val Kilmer because as we know now that he and what Schumacher they butted heads a lot in Making Forever, and you could see things that he was difficult to work with, those kind of headlines. And I liked that you got to see a lot of home videos and stuff like that and his comments um to get shed some more light on that to see him as as a full person and not just like these headlines of the dirt on Val Kilmer and he this almost negative um vibe that they had with him in making the movies and that's why he didn't come back for Batman and Robin and as Pete has said like it's a good thing now looking at it like well maybe it's a good thing he didn't come back for Batman and Robin
Yeah.
um But and he said, and you saw how in that about how he loved the character of Batman. He was happy that he got to be Batman. He reflected on like he was difficult at times in his acting career. He wishes that he wasn't as difficult at
Hmm.
times, but it's like it gave some more context that I really appreciated seeing. And then to see that he was proud that he was Batman. And then after he got sick and everything, he was, proud to dive in. He had a sense of humor. You posted, wasn't it you that posted that video with
Hmm.
Warwick Davis in the BOF group?
Too short.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he had a sense of humor
Yeah.
about it too, which
I
was,
love
great
that
too.
little bit on that
Yeah.
show.
So I don't know.
George
It's
Clooney. I love George Clooney.
yes. Uh but all that just gives this nice like I don't know what you want to call it positive chapter of Val Kilmer's
Yeah.
Batman, I think.
So you first saw him in Tombstone. That's a
Hmm.
classic
Oh, I love that movie.
movie and a classic
Oh, love
role.
that movie. Yeah, he's so good in that.
I remember, I think I first saw him in Top Secret, um, where he was kind of part of it was a spoof film, kind of in the vein of the airplane movies, and
Hmm.
and they were spoofing like some of the '60s Elvis movies at that time. And it's probably one of the reasons I was attracted to it because it was,
You like
kind
Elvis?
of had, I do. I
Oh,
know I've
okay.
kept that secret. I'm kind of closet
Yeah.
Elvis fan.
All right.
Um, and then, of course, Real Genius, and then Top Gun, as the Iceman. But it was really Tombstone. Tombstone got him the Batman role, and then
Yeah.
The Doors.
The Doors.
I love that movie. I put
I
it
was
this
gonna
way.
say, do you like that movie or do you like him in that
I
movie?
like his performance. If I would say, do I
Yeah.
like the movie? I like the movie, but number
Hmm.
one, I like his performance. He's just, I mean, he just became Jim Morrison. You
Yeah.
know, like Austin Butler became Elvis, maybe even more so with him. And I just think he was, and he did leading man stuff, and then he did, supporting role stuff, and
Hmm.
he's hell of
I'm
an
looking.
actor.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a lot more that I haven't seen of his stuff than I have seen, but like sprinkled throughout, it's like, oh yeah, I saw that. I saw that. I remember I saw the Saint, this really good movie from '96
Heat,
called The Ghost in the Darkness. Oh my gosh, Heat. Oh, it's
yeah,
all
yeah,
connected. Inspired The Dark
yeah.
Knight. Ghost in the Darkness. Did you ever see that? It was him and Michael Douglas, and it was like hunting a lion out in Africa. It
I
was like a
did,
thriller.
but I saw it when it came out, and I probably haven't seen it since.
Yeah, we watched it all the time growing up, and that was good. But it's been a long time since I've seen that. The Doors I haven't seen in a really long time. Real Genius I haven't seen in a really long time. He played in one episode of the show Entourage, and he played like a really like an out there character from my memory serves correctly, and that like blew me away a little bit. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Val Kilmer.
Yeah,
Um, and then yeah, I mean, you
I
just
like
look at
Kiss
the
Kiss
kinds
Bang
of
Bang. Do you like that movie?
I haven't seen it. No,
Oh,
because I think is that one that has like a heart.
Robert
No,
Downey Jr.'s in
like
it.
S Snatched or Snatch. I think it's Guy Ritchie that's done them all.
Yeah,
And I thought that Guy Ritchie does movies where there's a very thick accent by everybody in the movie, and I just don't know what anybody's saying. I don't know if
yeah,
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is one of those though, but I haven't seen it.
yeah. He's a supporting
Um,
role. It's good.
okay, but I mean, just flipping through and seeing all these movies and stuff that he was in is like he had a
Mhm.
wide range. There we go.
Yeah, there was that moment there from, I guess, the Doors, probably maybe starting with even though he wasn't the lead in Top Gun, but like Top Gun, The Doors, to Tombstone, and to Batman Forever. I mean, he did The Saint. He was like one of the top notch go to leading men at that time, at that era. And just yeah, I was bummed out to hear that he had passed. I wrote a tribute to him on, you can find on Batman on Film. So this is kind of our follow up to
Our
that.
salute.
Yeah, salute to Val Kilmer for sure. And I think, you know what? It probably was a good thing. Ultimately, he didn't do Batman and Robin because he's kind of, we can separate the two films. We know the difference. We don't lump in Batman Forever with Batman and Robin like a lot of people do. And and just blanketly say, oh, it was a mess. It was a flop.
Copy and
It
paste.
was terrible,
No.
But no, it's like he's got this movie. He's got a Batman movie that was a success that people liked, and I think even has some rewatchability. I'm finding that watching it as we're doing this chapter by chapter.
I think there was a time period, and I fell into this trap. A lot of people can fall into the traps too, of when something's new, the previous versions, it's cool to dump on it. When the Nolan trilogy, probably when the first two, I grew out of it by the time Rises came out. But I was rewatching the Burton Schumacher movies and kind of like not picking it apart, but watching it through a different lens.
You became you became a Batman on Film snob.
Not completely.
No,
not purely,
not internet level.
It was
no.
I didn't go and post to a bunch of strangers dumping on it because it was still Batman and it was still great. I still remembered, 10 years later how big of a deal Batman Forever was to me. But when it came to, I was hearing all that focus on villains and the focus on villains and then the stories and stuff like that, but I never lost the sense of like my appreciation for the movies.
Yeah.
The more time goes by for Batman and Robin, the more rewatchable it is for me because it's like if it was the last Batman movie we ever got, I'd probably be really annoyed with it, but it wasn't. So
when we got the Dark Knight trilogy, I really my hate's a strong word. My extreme dislike of Batman and Robin eased, and I can watch it in snippets, but I always, even with Batman Begins and then, the rest of the two other films, the little film called The Dark Knight and then Rises, I never lost my appreciation or my love for 89 or Forever.
It's just so much, it's popcorn entertainment. Like for some reason, you can't have that these days. And it's like, no, 90s movies, like rewatch a bunch of big 90s movies. They're great popcorn entertainment. And that's not a slight. It's like, you just want good fun. And Batman Forever is like, it's just a freaking fun movie.
My son was on, Micah was on the last chapter by chapter. And he was like, that was my first Batman. That's what I grew up with. I didn't know any different. It was and he loves Batman Forever. I think its place in Batman history, not only was it success, but it's a movie. You got a 9, 10, 11-year-old, 12-year-old kid, and you want to introduce them to, I'm doing air quotes, serious Batman, but appropriate. Throw in Batman Forever.
Yeah, I can. It sounds.
It's got it.
Somebody that I have a friend whose kid is a big Batman and Spider-Man fan, and he watched 89, and he's like 6, because 6 is good. He watched 89, and I think there were parts of that felt a little intense for him. I don't know if he watched Returns, but then he loved Forever and Batman and Robin. Loved it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know of any actual scenes in Forever that I would hesitate for a kid.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I've watched it twice already this year. I'm gonna watch it 2 more times this year. I know it.
It's that I think that's its place. Is it can be a conduit into the world of Batman. You don't have to start out with Dark Knight. or the Batman, or Batman Forever,
Hmm.
or he's Batman Returns, even Batman 89. You
All
like you
this
said,
Batman Kilmer Keaton talk.
I mean, it's these, it's all these consonants. It's
Yeah.
killing me today.
Jeez. Let's just say 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. So yeah, salute Val Kilmer. That sucks. He kicked the cancer's ass and then, you know, dies from pneumonia. He's 65. Good run. I wish it had been longer. But yeah, there we go. His place in Batman history is solid and firm. He's there. And someone we'll talk about when we talk about Batman on film. All right. So we're going to switch gears, kind of. We're still going to talk about Val Kilmer's Batman. Batman on film chapter by chapter. This would be Batman Forever chapter 12. I understand. Short scene. So we'll go through that, and then we're going to get back to the final topic at hand on the social hour. So during the big, it's the big event for Enigma and the box, Enigma Tech, and they're having this gala, and Bruce Wayne goes with Chase Meridian as his date, brings Dick Grayson tags along, that whole thing, and we end up, they become Batman, and Batman gets blasted and
Batman! Yay!
Didn't you think it was the same? That was the same dude as the
I
security
did
guard
for the
for
longest
years.
time.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned, I made a comment to that chapter by chapter of like, thanks to DVD and Blu-ray and digital that you can frame by frame stop. It was impossible on VHS, that I was able to finally answer that a few years ago of like, that guy isn't the security guard. It's the report. He's a media somebody that's there with the whole group with Gossip Gertie that greets. And I was like, okay, there we go. Finally, I can sleep now. All right, Batman Forever's an A+ now. It was a B for so long because I couldn't figure that out.
I still thought it until we talked about it here recently, but crazy. So Batman basically gets smothered in sand and dirt, and Dick Grayson in his circus get up pulls him out back to the Batcave. But in the meantime, right in the middle of all this, fighting as Batman and taking on Two-Face's thugs, Chase Meridian has time to pull him aside and say, "My place, midnight."
I mean, isn't that usually? I mean, isn't that how everybody meets their spouse?
Sure.
Crash through the window, save him at a party, and it's like, all right, let's go on a date at my place at midnight.
Yes, yes. So after he almost dies, after he lectures Dick Grayson,
that's right,
about you're not gonna, no, I'm not.
The hell did you think you were doing?
Yes, that's exactly right. Could have gotten yourself killed.
No.
Yeah. I can stop you. Anyway, after all of that, suddenly, when Dick Grayson leaves the Batcave, Bruce just automatically whips turns on the whips his chair around, turns on the monitor on the Bat computer, and there's Chase Meridian doing a shampoo commercial.
And you know what? At this time period, completely understand it.
Yeah.
Like Dr. Chase Meridian.
Yeah.
She was a nice lady. Nice doctor.
Yes. Yeah. So
doing a shampoo commercial.
L'Oreal. Slow motion when they're flipping your hair around, and look how bouncy and shiny it is.
It's like, what the hell's going on here?
Yes. So after all that, he almost died. With Alfred's encouragement, go to her, tell her how you feel.
He accept the damn invite, Bruce.
Yeah, he decides to. I guess he still had half the bat suit on. He just put the rest back on.
Yeah,
and went to her apartment, and she must make some good damn money. Yeah, as a psychiatrist, even though she's brought in to consult with Jim Gordon on Two-Face. And
I always for that. So
her and Vicky Bell got very nice apartments, right?
Yeah,
lots of space.
Pay as well in Gotham. Apparently, I don't know where the two guys that needed $1 in '89. Yeah, where they were working, but it seems everybody else gets paid really well. But when that opening shot, I mean, it was as Adam West said, there's stirrings. I think there was a lot of stirrings in Bat Belts with that
Yeah.
um Dr. Meridian shot. That was very like to me as a kid even I was kind of like that's kind of saucy, But I think that's a good example of a scene. Do you remember the character posters that came out for Forever?
Mm-hmm.
And hers was very much, she's in a chair, like leaned down or something
Yeah.
like that. And there was the bat symbol like in the sky behind her out the
Yeah.
window. I think this scene and that I think are strong examples of like Schumacher taking that 50s and like 40s noir vibe, which is really funny because I think that they're like complete opposite ends of the spectrum in a sense in some ways of how Forever was as a movie and then
Mm-hmm.
noir. But I think he was taking that approach a little bit. And I
Yeah.
think these are great examples of that kind of flavor, like that
Yeah.
he was trying to do at times. So I think that the idea in itself of like, hey, superhero, come to my balcony and my windows and doors are unlocked and you just walk right in. It won't be scary or creepy. That's a little like, oh boy.
Yeah.
The idea could have been in Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
But I think Schumacher as a director and the look of that, and I think the score with it and everything, it sells it as a little less
It's
ridiculous.
it's a very good looking shot as well. As far as the
Mhm.
cinematography,
Yes,
the
exactly.
lighting,
Mhm.
it's
Blue hard shadows and
the movie. I mean, the look of the movie, the cinematography, everything holds up today still, in my
yep.
opinion. But Batman goes, she gets out of bed, and I think she's
Bare naked.
and she
What?
wraps her. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
That's a I'm foreshadowing the at the end.
Bare
Hope
naked
someday
with a girl.
girl, yeah. And she wraps herself in this very satiny night sheet cover, whatever.
It's a big bed sheet.
Yeah,
It's a
big
big
bed sheet.
sheet.
Goes to
Mhm.
Batman. They kiss,
Yeah.
and then she automatically says, "Oh, I've been waiting for this forever, and I can't die. I can't do it. I've met someone,
Yeah.
and it's not you." And
Yeah.
still, there's kind of what a parallel between this and then when Bruce is at the circus, Rent Mill Circus, he
Yeah.
goes, say, Chase, say, Doctor,
Yeah.
I'm going rock climbing this weekend. Would you like to go? I met somebody. It's kind of the parallel, but that was Bruce Wayne. Now this is Batman, and he says, I understand.
Yeah. I
And
understand. But
and
they make sure to get another
yeah,
kiss in.
yeah, turns around,
Ugh.
and let's talk about. I mean, here's this. Is
I
this the
never
one?
liked this.
Yeah,
Even as a kid.
it's the one we could have cut, right?
Yes.
We cut the damn
Yeah.
Red Diary subplot,
Yeah.
a good chunk of it, but we keep this in.
Ugh.
Yes, I'm with you. Big old smile from Batman. He's like, yes, to hell with Batman. Now she loves Bruce Wayne. I guess that's his inner monologue, right? That's what it sounded like? That's what he was saying,
Yeah.
right?
And I think it's just so I think I have a couple elementary school pictures where I smiled like this. And then I was, definitely beaten in my head
Yeah,
of like my mom of like, you need to show your teeth. Like
yeah.
open your mouth and your smile and show your teeth because that's a bad smile.
I have.
And this is too. Like, ugh.
I think I have that same picture I took,
Yeah.
and that was the time I decided to. I was going to cut my bangs, and I have a big. Doesn't every kid do that at least once? I cut a big gap out of my front of my bangs, and I'm like smiling with that.
It's
With that,
third grade. I'm telling you, my third grade picture, you can see it. There's a patch
yeah,
right here.
yeah,
So I came out of the
yeah,
bathroom with scissors and said, "Hey, mom, I cut my hair." She's like,
yeah,
what the hell?"
yes.
And they tried to cover it up in that third grade picture, Bill.
Oh, I
Oof,
gotta find
old
it. Yeah,
patch.
and I had that same big gap out of front of and at that time I had this Guy Gardner, Mo Howard
Nice.
haircut,
Yes.
at the time, and just a big gap out of the front, and me doing the Val Kilmer Batman smile. Yeah, yeah, awesome. Might have been
Yeah.
third.
Oh
I think
man,
she
my
actually
goodness.
might have been third grade. Anyway,
Well, as far as it goes to the character of Batman, wouldn't you
yeah,
say because you could almost ask like right away, like for now, everybody like, does Batman ever smile? Let me ask you
Yeah.
that question first. Does Batman smile?
My Batman, does he smile?
Sure.
It's got to. It's no. It's yes or no, right? You got to go one way or the other. This question
However you want to answer it. I have my answer.
depends.
All right. I'd say
My
he
first.
smirks. That's as much as
Okay.
Batman does as he smirks. Because even the most, so you take the Batman, because I like there's you even have a part, maybe multiple,
Okay.
but one in particular where Pattinson's like, and you just have the little bit of the end just like does a little up, hmm, sort of
Yeah.
deal. And I'm like, that's as much that to me Batman does. He does not do this.
Yes.
Uh, no matter what in comics where they draw like a smile or something, I just think, in print or on a screen, it's a slight smirk, and that's what Batman does.
Okay.
And maybe this image itself burned itself into everyone's brain. Where like, yeah, Batman's not smiling like this again.
Yes. I
A bit
I'm
much.
with you. I'm with you on that. When I said depends. Okay. Yeah. A smirk. I can go with that. So that's basically the end of the scene.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's that
I,
quick.
I'm thinking that I don't know how. I think he could have just turned. He could have turned around and that had been the end of it without the smile.
Yep.
I know what they're doing. I know what the
Yeah.
purpose was. Is there another way to have done that? Did he have to smile to? I think Kilmer probably had a hard time doing that with Joel directing him to do it. Like, okay, you have to have a big goofy ass smile on your face, and
Director gets the
Kilmer's,
last say. So
yeah,
like, no matter how much if he didn't want to do it, you have to. And then I would
so
be like, oh my God, this is
yeah,
the worst day on set.
so it's probably it's like, aha,
Mhm.
she likes Bruce Wayne, not
She
Batman.
likes me.
Yeah, there could have been maybe a different way or more subtle smile or something, but yeah,
Maybe he was
not the
getting a school picture taken. I don't
yeah. I was about to say maybe not the third grade school picture
know.
smile there. So that does it for Batman on film,
All right.
chapter by chapter. Batman Forever, chapter 12. I
Whoop,
understand.
whoop.
Okay, we'll finish up. Now we're back to our regularly scheduled podcast. That would be the BF
Yeah.
Social Hour, and we're going to talk
Our blood's
about.
gonna get pumping now.
Oh yeah, Robert Pattinson apparently is going to take a role in Dune 3, which starts filming this summer after he finishes the Odyssey, which he may have already finished it. Who knows? Maybe he hasn't even started the Odyssey yet. Okay.
Yeah.
Who knows? And that set the interwebs afire, the interwebs of fandom, because it immediately went to overreaction freak out mode. That
Yep.
this meant that the Batman Part 2, not only would it be filming be pushed back, now there were even something, oh, it's going to be canceled. It's blatantly obvious they're not going to make this movie now. All these proclamations. Well, let's just talk about the time frame here, Ryan. Okay, and
Mhm.
we talked about it before we went live on air. Are we on the air? If we record this and then it played back in the podcast, are we still on the air?
Sure.
Okay, I'm just
It's
asking.
pulling signal. The bat.
Okay,
I don't know.
okay,
Brain waves.
okay. The box.
The box.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's all connected. So you talk. I mean, let's just say they don't start filming until early 2026. Okay. How
Yeah.
long is it until the movie comes out?
Over a year and a half.
Yeah. Almost 2 years.
Over
What
a
is
year
it
and a half.
about?
My
Yeah.
goodness.
Like 21, 22 months, something like
Yeah.
that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's a non-issue. There's a lot of I've said this, I think I said it to Pete, maybe said it to you before too. It's like much like I don't think people should be afraid to ask questions. And if they
Yeah.
see a story and, so this says, you know, Robert Pattinson's and he's making headlines and it's not about the Batman sequel. And it's been a long time, you know, in a way, we'll say it's been a while um, since the Batman. So you see him pop up on another headline and it's not about the Batman part two. You can have genuine like curiosity. I don't think there's
Yeah.
anything wrong with that. Nothing at all. Ask a question. Hey, does this have anything to do? It's how people act about it. And they act like fools. And they don't think logically or in reality. They don't read articles. They just read headlines.
Hmm.
Most headlines are from these anybody can create a website and create a headline
Yeah.
headline. So they're not trained journalists. They don't have sources. They don't have facts.
Well,
They
there's
just need
one
clicks.
headline that talked about Pattinson. The whole thing, the
Hmm.
whole article was out about Pattinson doing Dune 3, and this probably means that he's not going to start filming the Batman until early 2026, if at all. And maybe the saying that the production of the film, we're going to start filming in January of 2026 instead of December of 2025 or November of 2025 does not make for a trade story. They don't need, the studio doesn't need to announce to the trades, that the date, the filming is going to start a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks,
Yeah.
whatever, six
Yeah.
weeks after what they started to accommodate Robert Pattinson. Maybe they don't even have to accommodate him. You start filming, he shows up, after the fact. I mean, sometimes people
It's just,
sometimes people don't even see or in the same movie never see each other, while
yeah,
they're making
exactly. Well, exactly. And the time commitment. So from what I'd seen is that Dune 3 starts filming this summer. It's going
it.
to end by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
That's how long the director is going to be filming.
Yeah.
That's not every single actor is going to be there that
Yeah.
entirety of the project. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know how long each actor's supposed to be, but it's much more of a commitment for a director than it is an actor. Actors, their job is to act in movies, act in TV shows, pick up different projects. Robert Pattinson doesn't live and die by his career doesn't live and die by the Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's such a plus that he's taking like if it because I guess that isn't fully confirmed. It was he's being eyed for Dune 3, but he's gonna be it's only good for the Batman if he keeps working, and he's
Yeah.
gonna be in another Nolan movie that's gonna be huge.
Well,
He's gonna
because
be in this Dune
every
3, it's gonna be huge. And it's like that's only good news for
every
him.
project he does, when there's a story written about it or he does press for it, he talks about the Batman part two. Just with that, just with that Mickey 17.
Hmm.
I mean, that's when he just recently said, "Yeah, we're going to start filming like the end of the year."
Yeah.
I know, and Matt Reeves told me a little bit about the story. It's cool. It's cool. I'm excited for it. I mean,
Well,
this is,
how do we know that I mean, he said by the end of maybe like the Batman part two, maybe it's aerial shots of cities with snow.
yeah,
Because it's going to take place right after the Penguin, right? So, and wasn't it
yeah.
snowing in the Penguin? Yeah. So maybe he doesn't even start filming until January or February. Like, I don't know, but it's just like the reaction
It's
like
immediately,
is the annoyance on my level too, because it's
yeah,
just like people step outside and away from the nerd bubble of the internet and act like a human. like
yeah.
like and think just think there's no panic here. Like it doesn't it doesn't make sense to me why there is such a panic other than people are trying to get clicks. There's this cool wave to ride right now of the how long it's taking for a sequel. So like the more we can dump on it, the more people will join us in dumping on something and making fun of how long it's taking to get a sequel. For some reason, that's cool. I don't understand it. I don't fall in that camp. I
Hmm.
also am like, my life doesn't revolve around the Batman Part 2. Like
Hmm.
it's coming at some point.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got other things that I
Well,
am have to do and other things to enjoy until then. And so I just really the panic, I just can't wrap my head around people that are, good people, intelligent people that are like, wait, why are you going down this rabbit hole?
And
It's not
this,
an issue.
yeah, it's immediately, oh, it ain't gonna happen. They're gonna cancel it. Then it's,
Hmm.
there's stuff between him and Gunn. Gunn wants to get to DCU Batman, so we're gonna, cancel the Batman Part 2. Never mind the fact that Matt Reeves is actually producing a DCU movie,
Yeah.
Clayface, and also
And a
what's
puppet
parent
movie.
a puppet movie, dynamic duo, dynamic duo that's Batman related, and it's likely Elseworlds. He's
Hmm.
producing those. And this idea that the general audience is going to lose interest. And so by the time the Batman 2 comes along, no one will go see it. That's a bunch of hogwash as well. Because
I'll admit, I like to come on here and tell you, like, I'll admit
yeah,
things I've said of like, that was that was, I won't even say concern, but like a thought in my head is the whole, I'm curious. Um, because you could strike when something's like, it's too soon or too late. Who knows? But most people don't even know there's a sequel to the Batman coming. Like most people
that's my
don't.
point.
So they don't
Most
know.
like
This doesn't
like
affect them.
not 51% most,
No,
like
like 90.
90% plus,
Yeah.
right? You
They have
know?
no idea. So they aren't even bothered with the stuff that some people are so stressed out about. Uh, and it's in which that's where I think a lot of us, even some of us that are following it much more than others, need to get back to is don't worry about it until like there's a trailer or an image is released. Then we can start getting excited about it and start to, have fun discussions about it rather than I'm itching so much that like, what is it? Oh my God, she's taking on another world. That means it's going to delay the Batman Part 2 and it could be canceled. And Robert Pattinson, he doesn't want to be Batman. And he even said it's taking too long. No, just, blech, you know?
And fans who say, it's taking so long, I'm losing interest. I'm calling BS on that.
You'll be there.
Your ass will be there opening night.
Yeah, you'll be there.
Don't even go
And
there.
but
And you,
it's to follow. That's the cool, that's that cool wave to ride right now.
yeah.
It's cool to just be like, for some reason, it's cool to say, I'm not even interested anymore. I don't even care. Yeah, I don't even care. But when that first trailer drops, I'm gonna tweet about it. And I'm gonna say, hey, you should watch my video reaction to this. And
Yeah.
what's fun about that is to see that other people then they get receipts and they're like, huh, well, you changed your mind quite a bit because remember a few months ago when you said that this wasn't happening, blah, blah, blah. That's I'm
When was
petty.
that?
That's kind of fun to see.
It was December, early December, when it was announced that the release day got moved back a year.
I thought it was late December.
Okay.
Regardless,
Whatever.
December.
December.
Yep.
December. Late December, early December, whatever it takes. So
Yeah.
I remember, and I overreacted.
Oh,
I got
we both
pissed.
talked about this. Both of us
Yeah.
were a little like a little glum about it, at least on that
Yeah.
first day.
Yes. I was a little pissed, and I kind of said, shh. And I went there for a second, like, is this some bitch going to happen? You know?
Yeah.
And then what I did is I got educated. I talked to people I knew, and I found
What a
out,
concept.
yeah,
What a concept, Bill.
I found out that there is a non-professional reason why the film was delayed a second time. The first time was mostly due to the strikes, because I mean, for real, Matt Reeves and Matt Tallman did not work on it
Yeah.
during the strikes.
People don't understand what strikes are either,
Yeah.
apparently.
Yeah, we kind of assume, oh, they're still working, they're still writing. No, they didn't. They honored the strike. This time, and I will say this, that there is a non-professional. It has nothing to do with Matt Reeves being slow and meticulous. That is true. He is. He works slow. He is meticulous. Has nothing to do with this movie being delayed to 2027. Period. Period. And I'm not going to go any further than that and say, other than say, if, when it ever comes out, what the deal was,
Yeah.
you feel like an asshole. Okay.
They should, but they'll forget because they talk so much. They'll forget
Yeah.
the BS things that they've said when nobody knows the whole story of anything. And maybe they can say, I don't know the whole story. I feel like they're keeping, okay, that's fair. Also,
Look,
we're just fans. I don't need to know what's happening with Matt Reeves' life because it's not my business. I don't need to know what's happening with James Gunn's life because that's not my business. Like
yeah.
all this stuff, it's not my business. So who am I to sit there and to, I don't know, throw shade at Matt Reeves because it's, that I'm not getting a sequel to a movie. Like, who the hell am I to say that? Like that's
Mm-hmm.
BS.
Yeah.
And these people won't get the egg on their face, and they should. Did you ever see, was it Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back? Maybe you've seen the clips at least where Kevin Smith's character looks up all these random people that said crap online about his movie,
Yeah. Yeah.
or Silent Bob, and they go to each house and they just beat the shit out of it because
Yeah.
they're all these like kids that live in
Was
basements
that
and stuff.
was it stuff like on Movie Poop Shoot? Was that?
Yeah, moviepoopshoot.com, yes.
Yeah.
But that's such a like, man, if this could be a reality, I wouldn't want people to get physically hurt, but I would want them to get like garbage thrown in their face or something because there's no accountability for
There's
the
none.
distasteful
Zero.
comments
Zero.
that they do online.
Zero.
And I don't know anything that's going on, but if it does come to light ever, like these people deserve to just kind of be like, shame on you, you know?
Yeah.
If you're saying it's a personal reason, well, that we don't need to know what the reason is. It's a personal thing and it's just a movie. I think it's totally fair if someone's like, I loved the Batman. I like, man, it's gonna be still another 2.5 years till a sequel. Yeah, and it's like that's totally fair. You can have disappointment, but it's what I'd said earlier of like, but how do you act about with that disappointment? Don't act like an immature child.
Yeah.
Act mature about it. Be like, damn, I was really looking forward to this year. If there's gonna be a sequel, and then move on with other interests.
And let's let's not forget we just had 8 hours plus of content from this world. The story was continued after the Batman in the Penguin. That's a lot. And it's coming kind of sort of in between the Batman Part 1, the Batman Part 2. And here's another bullshit thing. I got emails on. Just got to break it because it's the same shit. Someone posted online, and then there were stories ran with it, like a UK or French, I don't know, it was some not domestic version of a Warner Brothers site, changed the title from the Batman Part 2 to Untitled Batman Movie 2027. And that caused a whole plethora of nonsense.
This romanticizing of this DCU Batman is going to be what it's going to be is also another thing I can't wrap my head around either. This whole let's just slam the door shut on the Batman Part 2 and let's get the DCU Batman up and running. Let's go for something that doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
I can't wrap my head around that part either. And that Warner Brothers, they just need to shut the door on the Batman. What do we always know about suits? And if there's money to be made, they're gonna drain the hell out of it until there's no more money to be made, right? And the Batman was a hit. It made them money. It's established. Why in the world would they say it's money left on the table? Let's leave that money on the table and let's put all of our chips in this thing that doesn't exist and has no proof of concept yet.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great business idea.
Yeah.
I don't understand how anybody can sit there other than nerds just being nerds and because they can't be proven wrong if it's their own idea and how that makes any sense whatsoever. I'm not saying that there can't be a Batman in the DCU while the Batman's happening. I'm not saying that can't happen. But to shelve one for this other one that hasn't even started anything makes no sense.
Gunn and Safran, like when they talked like that recent, the back, was it January or February, whenever the hell it was, they did the presser,
Yeah.
or was it March? I mean, it was,
I think it was
what?
February. I think it was
Okay.
February. Earlier this year. There, you can't be
I mean,
wrong. Earlier this year.
he brought Peter Safran, he brought up the Batman saga without being asked about it
Mhm.
when he was just explaining about Elseworlds, and he said he's confirmed, Matt's stuff, the Batman trilogy, the trilogy of films. He wasn't asked, it wasn't like, someone, asking Ben, you still going to do the Batman with Matt Reeves? I'll be a ape on the effing ground,
Yeah.
But when that's different. He brought it up and said, yeah, we're going to do
Yeah.
Elseworlds. And James Gunn has talked about the respect they have for Matt Reeves, and Matt Reeves is producing DCU stuff that's Batman-ish, Elseworlds stuff, and even James Gunn has talked about, we're working on the Elseworlds banner, and there's still other Elseworlds projects. Some of these animated DC stuff that's coming out is Elseworlds. So,
well, I can understand. I could understand. I'm not going to sit here and act. There's a lot of people that are just, making firm statements too when they don't know shit. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know the Batman Part 2 is going to come out and be made because I don't know that. I'm not in the room. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen because I don't know that either. I could understand if Warner Brothers, Pete and I actually just talked about this the other day, of like, I could understand if Warner Brothers is like, our most valuable IP is not making us money right now. We want that to make us money. Not saying we need to hurry up and get DCU Batman. We need to hurry up and get the Batman Part 2. It's just we need a Batman movie because that's money for us. We need to make money. And I can totally understand that.
That's a fair and valid point. Yes.
Yeah. But like I don't these other avenues that fans are going down and taking things, and that's snowballing. I just can't wrap my head around it. And it's as much progress as nerds made in the 2000s. We are going way back now in ridiculous nerd rage. I don't know, Bill.
Yeah. So look, as of right now,
it's Ogre and Revenge of the Nerds. Nerds.
the Batman Part 2 is happening. I'm just relax. I mean, you just got
until it starts filming. I think it's just going to be even more nonsense.
Yeah.
I think until whoever villain or villains and or new main characters are going to be cast for the sequel, until there's news of that, it's going to just still be this. And even with that, there's still going to be the snarky comment of like, well, if the movie ever comes, if the movie ever gets made. Because, that's really funny to strike deals and cast people for movies that aren't going to be made.
Social media comments about Matt Reeves. I mean, they even lean into like, why are you shitting on Matt Reeves? Like it's personal. And it's funny.
He came and kicked your dog, or is how they're acting.
I mean,
like, he's directing a movie. He's writing a movie. He's producing other movies.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Whatever, and whatever.
Yeah. I don't like giving, and I don't like giving light to the nonsense of that kind of stuff, but it's like, it starts to invade my avenues that I go to stay away from this crap. That's when it's sort of like, hey, get the hell out of here with your shenanigans. Start your own website, movie poop shoot, and make your own comments.
When it comes into my realm, because I do my best to avoid nonsense online.
I keep my door closed. I'm not inviting that crap in here.
I am pretty much, I'm the opposite. I'm the anti Pete Vera, who has his ear to the ground and knows.
I think he's calmed down a little bit from too. I think he started
good for him.
Yeah, he's didn't like the smell.
Yeah, well,
apparently he used to, but
it's a bad smell.
It's a very bad smell.
It's a bad smell. You don't want that smell, So, let's just when it gets in my realm, I'm gonna say, hold on a second.
Hold on.
Hold on. HODEON. Hold on.
Hold on.
I'm trying. I try to hint that you shouldn't be worried, and there's still freakouts, and then there's these long diatribes of, well, the options is this, and this, and it's got to be that. It's for sure canceled, but we're not getting a trilogy, and we're not this and that. And I was like, whatever. Anyway, enough of that.
Yeah.
Enough of that
Ugh.
nonsense. So
Garbage.
Yeah, we're done here. All I know is I like the Batman. I like the Penguin. I can pop in the Batman anytime I want to. I can pick up before the Batman and read it anytime I want to. I can read the Riddler year one whenever I want to. And I'm kind of got a lot of content from the Batman universe right now. And
Yeah.
once, one hypothesis I have, I don't know how right or wrong. I'm probably wrong. I usually am. But there may be a conscious effort to keep anything Batman on the down and low right now until Superman comes and goes.
Which makes total sense.
Yes, and kind of focus the spotlight on Superman, because there's so, for real, there is so much writing on Superman that it's just
their big movie of the summer.
Yeah.
And they're 3 months out. Why would they put almost any energy or focus on a movie that's 2.5 years out as opposed to one that's 3 months away?
Absolutely.
So I feel Batman talk is going to be very minimal
because
they need to talk about Superman.
I don't get the Warner Brothers needs to make an announcement now. With you're pounding your fist.
Bullshit they do.
Yeah.
Announced that another trailer for Superman's coming. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Yes.
People,
they don't have to make announcements about anything until they have to make announcements.
Yeah.
How about that?
To appease 0.01% of people who saw the Batman.
Yes. Because I can tell you at the engineering firm in downtown Dallas, while they were hanging around the water cooler, there was not one person going, well, I'm really bummed out today. Did you see that Robert Pattinson's doing Dune 3? That means the Batman Part 2 is canceled, and that they couldn't even do any engineering.
I'll do even better. When I go to work, and I work in media, I work in media, so we're like nerds of entertainment and all that stuff. Nobody they do know that I'm a Batman guy, flat out. It's everywhere at my desk. Nobody's coming up and be like, hey, did you hear Robert Pattinson is going to be in Dune 3? What's that mean about the Batman Part 2? Not a one. Anybody that I would talk to. So I'm thinking in my head, who would be the closest person with the Batman knowledge? He wouldn't know.
Yeah.
He wouldn't come up to me and ask me that even.
Yeah.
He talked to me about the Penguin series, and he would ask me of like, cool, so they're making the sequel, right? Yeah. Cool. And that's it. From people who are apparently dialed into, the entertainment area. So it's like, oh yeah, just chill. Take, Mr. Freeze. There you go. Go watch that clip in Batman and Robin. Chill.
The bubble,
chill.
The space around us Batman fans, who have an investment in this and keep up with it. That's not the reality of
exactly. It's not reality.
General audience.
Nope.
It's not.
Not at all.
It's not even.
I was hoping that I was like 15 years away still from Old Man Yells at Clouds, but they're making me get there sooner than I wanted to be, Bill. I'm getting there, and I don't like it.
I got a spot waiting for right next to
in
me.
The sidecar.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's ride.
Yeah. All right. Let's get on out of here. Let's ride on out. Let's ride on out of here.
All right.
Ron, anything you want to mention? You got going on Batman Book Club.
The Batman Book Club new episode came out today. I need to send it to you because you graciously post stuff on Batman on Film. Artist John Somariva is on to talk about his drawing for his book, Multiverses Collision Detected. I don't know how many people read it when it came out. It's collected now. It was a lot of fun and a great conversation with him. I love talking to that guy. And then reviews on Batman on Film. The first issue of Hush 2, that's on BOF from a couple weeks ago. And then the last Halloween, issue 6 of 10. We're in the back half of that story. Are you liking that one?
Long Halloween? Last Halloween?
Yeah, last Halloween.
It's above average. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I'm really enjoying that. A full on, how does it feel? I gotta wait till the story ends to read it all, like boom, 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 boom. But yeah, I think it's definitely above average, and I really like it. My reviews, I think, have all been really positive. There's just one that I was like, this was fine, but the other six, I think, have been really good. So that's fun, good comic book stuff.
I'm not
There we go.
like, I'm probably at the same place with Hush 2. Yeah, it's above average. I mean, it's not like this sucks. No, I mean, I'm enjoying reading them. I'm interested to see where it goes. I really like. I'm Absolute
I know.
Batman. I'm
Yeah.
enjoying that Dark Patterns.
Yeah. There's good, and there's stuff that I know that you're not reading, and that's not a slight, but there's other good Batman comics that are also out to where,
Yeah,
like, right now, and it's a bit of an entry point for, I think, for a lot of stuff. You might have to go dip back a few issues to start, but there's a lot of like fun Batman comic content if you're not one that's deep into exploring. There's a
yeah.
few that you could jump in right now, and it'd be a little limited in
I know
story,
Hobby.
or like
He
in
loves that.
commitment.
He loves. Well, there's both. He loves that. What is it? Batman and Robin. What's the? Was it
Year
year
one.
one?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that is
I
an
did.
excellent one
That's something I will probably get. Just I'll get the. I will definitely get the
when it's
trade just
collected.
because when it's collected,
Yeah.
and I'll read it. Even though that's Batman with Robin is not really
I, I know
my
your
my
tastes, and that would be one that
taste.
I'd
Yeah,
recommend to you at this
yeah,
point, where it's halfway
and
through, and at this point, it'd be one of like, hey, when it's collected, Bill, I recommend that you give this a
I
shot
know
because I think
Hobby
that even with
likes
Robin, you'd like it.
he likes the monthly Batman and Robin with Damian and all that as well.
Uh, since
That's just that the Batman
just
and Robin year one is more up my alley
yeah, for sure.
this other one.
The other one is it's since this writer, and I'm blanking on his name. I know his first name starts with a P. Um, and he did Superman, but since he's taken it over this arc, it's been like 6 issues or something. It's been better than everything before it, I thought. So that's been a
Okay.
lot of fun too. So I
Okay.
don't know, but that's a little harder
Well,
to
there you
jump
go.
into for someone that hasn't been reading as opposed to the others. Comic books. There you go.
Oh, Buddha in Pockets went off on that last the recap from
Oh, you
March,
listened to that,
right?
huh?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Whoo, buddy. I was laughing on the other side of
I
the
haven't
screen.
got his head. I got
I
into his
can
head about I think I got in
you
his head
did.
about DC gaslighting him with with Hush.
You got him cheesed.
He's
You
telling
got
me
him
they're
cheesed. My
gaslighting me for
goodness.
20 years now.
Yeah. It's fascinating though, because as strong as he felt, I'm like, I can't necessarily disagree with your points, Pete, but I'm not that passionate about your points either, because I definitely don't love the book. But if I didn't like it, I'd stop reading it. And I'm
Yeah.
still reading it 6 issues in, so there's something there. Yeah, anyways. Batman Book Club. Pete gets angry.
Okay. There you go.
Only for Absolute Batman.
I do have today. I'm late. I'm a day late because go sue me.
Ugh.
Finishing up my review for episode issue 7 of Absolute Batman that introduces Mr. Freeze.
Hey, to hell with your personal life, Bill. The fans
Yeah.
deserve your review.
Exactly.
Now, okay? Drop everything.
Yeah.
Get it up on the
So,
site. Come on.
I'll just say it's an interesting
Okay.
take on Mr. Freeze. If you haven't checked it
Yeah.
out yet.
I
All
haven't yet.
right. For me, Batman on film, Batman Dash on Pat. I'm having words are hard.
Yeah. Words are hard today. I know.
Words are hard today.
See,
Batman
these
Dash.
people got you all
on-
riled up. You can't
Yeah, I
even
know.
get the words out. See?
Yeah. Batman dash on dash film own, or I should say, as I say, own OWN Batman
There you go.
on film.com. Don't forget about the dashes. I will plug Batman Forever chapter by chapter. There's some good episodes in there. You know,
Yeah.
there's some scenes that are really good that I enjoy talking about, you know, especially like if Bruce Wayne could have given his life to save you, could have saved your parents, he would have. Like that whole scene's great. Anyway, good stuff there. All right. So for Ryan, I'm Bill. Announcer Rachel will finish here. We'll catch you next time.
You have been listening to the BOF Social Hour, Jett's official podcast on Batman on Film. Follow BOF on Threads at The Batman on Film. Follow BOF on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Batman on Film. To help keep BOF up and running, go to patreon.com/BatmanOnFilm, or you can buy BOF a beer at buymeacoffee.com/TheRealBatmanOnFilm. For Jett and everyone at BOF, I'm announcer Rachel. Authoritative, definitive, the original, Batman on Film, founded in 1998.
Batman flying night sky. Jett had a dream, now we're flying high. Since 98, it's been online. All the Bat fans gather and shine. Dark nights and Gotham tales, rockets with stories and never fail. We love the Bat, right from the start. Batman on film, straight to our heart. Jett's on the mission, spreading the word. Every bat flick, every unheard, classic tales and brand new Batman movies bring shades of blue. From the Joker's laugh to the hero's call, Batman time, standing tall. We love the Bat, right from the start. Batman on film, straight to our heart. That family full of cheer. Since 98, we feel the thrill, keeping the Bat vibes alive still. We love the Bat, right from the start. Batman on film, straight to our heart.